Welcome to Glow Social Club, the space where powerhouse women come to reclaim their health, their clarity, and their leadership. I'm Jazmine Corona, functional nutritional practitioner and founder of Organically Glow and Glow Social Club. Around here, we don't do one-size-fits-all advice. We translate symptoms into strategy and build the kind of structure that actually sustains you. If you are ready to lead your health, your work, and your life with clarity, confidence, and conviction, you are in the right place. Let's begin. Menopause isn't a shutdown, it's a recalibration. And when you know how to support your body, this can be one of the most empowered seasons of your life. So today we're going to be covering what is menopause, what is actually happening internally with our hormones, what are some signs and symptoms of menopause, and then we're also going to jump into some functional approaches to start supporting your energy, your metabolism, and your confidence. So this is a continuation of our series that we have been having, talking all about the different hormonal shifts that happen as we age as women. So let's just jump into it. What even is menopause, and when does it actually really start? Like, when do you know that you are in the menopausal state? So menopause is natural. Okay, I just want to put that out there. We are all going to go through it, and it is basically the permanent end of a woman's menstrual cycle. So this typically happens around the ages of 50 to 55 years old. It is starting to happen early and earlier, as I talked about in our last episode, talking about perimenopause. Why is that? Environmental toxins, which we'll jump into. So this is basically marked by your last menstrual period. So in order to be considered in menopause, you don't have a period for a whole 12 months. So this is a normal life stage that can include different symptoms. So you can experience hot flashes. This is a huge one. Night sweats, mood changes, even your energy levels start to decline, your metabolism starts to decline. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging to lose weight. You're also just at a very different stage of your life. So menopause specifically, again, this is 12 months without a period. So if you haven't had a period for 12 months, you may be considered in a menopausal state. Again, typically this happens around 50 to 55 years old. Sometimes it can be earlier, so around 45 years old, but symptoms can begin years before you are even in menopause. So this is that perimenopausal state that we talked about in our last episode. And if you haven't listened to that episode, I definitely recommend it because it does touch a lot on maybe some of the symptoms you are currently experiencing and how to support your body during that time. So let's talk about what happens when you go to the doctors and you're experiencing all these different symptoms. Like I said, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the irritability, the fatigue, maybe even you're having trouble losing weight, or you're just not able to hold on to muscle as much either. You go to your doctors and you're telling them like, hey, like this is what's happening. And the first thing I always hear clients tell me is, yeah, I went to my doctor, I told them what I was experiencing, and they just said, well, it's part of you're at that age now. It's normal for your age. And I have to say, yes, some of these symptoms are normal during this transitional phase of your life. However, I believe we can optimize our body to the point where these symptoms are not deliberately impacting our daily activities. That is so important when we're just talking about health overall, longevity, aging better. We want to not increase only our lifespan, so, living longer time, like we're living until like 100 years old, but we also want to have our health span, right? We want to be healthy. We want to be in a healthy state where we're able to chase our grandkids, take care of our family, still cook dinner, still go to the gym. Like, we're able to do this during this time. And the best thing we can do is learn how to support our body so we know how to be better equipped to handle these symptoms, to manage these symptoms, to support our body through these changes. So let's jump into menopause a little bit more in depth. So what is happening to our hormones during this phase? So our hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all drop. We've talked about estrogen and progesterone a lot in our last couple of episodes because those are our sex hormones. They are our reproductive hormones, and they are responsible for everything, for metabolism, for reproduction, for brain health, for sleep, for mood, even for libido. So it's really important to support these hormones the best we can. And then there's also testosterone, which is really important for like motivation, for thinking clearly, for making decisions quickly, for building muscle, staying strong, having higher endurance when we're training, right? So all of these hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, all drop. So what does this affect? How does this affect you? So number one is you have the inability to regulate your temperature. So this is where the hot flashes comes in. This is where the night sweats comes in, where you're sitting there and it's like 60 degrees in the house and you're like, why am I sweating? What is going on here? And this doesn't just happen to women between 45 to 55 years old. I see this happening to younger and younger women every single day in my practice, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is definitely a sign of early menopause, but how can we support our body so we're not experiencing these symptoms? How can we reverse this? And we can. When these hormones drop too, we start to have metabolism issues, right? So our metabolism starts to slow down. So this can lead to weight gain. This can lead to the inability to lose weight. So it's harder to lose weight. This can even lead to how well we're balancing our blood sugar, how well we're regulating our blood sugar. So insulin resistance is something I see pretty often when it comes to our metabolism, when it comes to our hormonal shifts. So it's really important to get testing done so we know what is, contributing to your symptoms. Next, our brain. Okay, our brain is going to have some shifts and changes as these hormones decline. So we can have memory loss, we can have brain fog, we can have the mood swings. So like I said, the irritability, we can even have depression, anxiety, just feeling like super down, super drained. And then our sleep is impacted so much. Like I said, some people, they have night sweats, so they're waking up in the middle of the night and they're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like I can't even get a good night's rest. They are fragmented, so they're just waking up multiple times throughout the night. They're not getting that deep restorative sleep that we need to help with our brain health, to help with our energy levels. And then of course, bad sleep can lead to anxiety. We also see skin issues and even our tissues too and our muscles. So we can see more dryness in our skin. We can experience more thinning in our skin. We get dehydrated easier. And then again, for the muscle, it's very difficult to build muscle as you age. So that's why it is best to do it now. You can still work on building muscle right now. You just have to work a little bit harder at it and more strategic about it. And then your libido. So you have a decline in the desire, and then you also have a vaginal dryness. So this is going to really impact your relationships. All of these symptoms can impact your relationships. It can impact your day-to-day life. It can impact your work life. So these symptoms have become normalized, but you can optimize these symptoms. You can optimize your hormones in order to combat these symptoms, because symptoms are just signals. Once we understand what they're trying to communicate to you, then that's when we can be strategic and we can bring in certain things to support your body, to support your health, support your brain, your energy levels, all the fun stuff that we need in order to live a very healthy and thriving life. You lead teams, households, businesses, but no one taught you how to lead your health. Most wellness advice wasn't built for women like you, high functioning, chronically fatigued, done with surface level fixes that don't actually work. That's why I created my one-on-one personalized wellness plans. We start with functional labs, we decode your symptoms, and we build a protocol that's rooted in data and designed for your reality. This isn't trendy wellness, this is root cause medicine that leads to restorative care. It's clarity, structure, and sustainable results for women who carry a lot and deserve to feel like themselves again. If you are ready for precision support and a practitioner who sees the full picture, head to organicallyglow.com, book a call, and let's rebuild your energy at the root so you can lead everything else from a place of clarity. So what are some root causes that can magnify these symptoms? So like I said, we've talked about this in past episodes, but when it comes to your hormones declining, we also want to think about what's going on internally. Okay, what's actually leading to these hormones to decline at a faster rate? This can be nutrient depletion, so this can be from years of yo-yo dieting or just chronic stress on the body. We can even see blood sugar instability. So like I said, that blood sugar dysregulation, usually our metabolism is impacted, so that is going to impact our blood sugar, can lead to early signs of insulin resistance. So this is actually going to lead to a lot of the symptoms that we went over. Another huge root cause is going to be your gut and your liver health. And then of course, we want to talk about deeper root causes, so hidden toxins and infections. Even talking more about the nervous system, so unresolved trauma or even just chronic stress from years of taking care of kids, from years of taking care of the household, from building your career, all the different jobs and hats that you had to wear. This can lead to a lot of the chronic stress that you have experienced, low muscle mass, and even just inflammation in the body. So again, symptoms are just signals. They are not permanent diagnosis. They're not even a diagnosis, right? They are just more information. This is your body's way of communicating to you. So if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, this is why we always focus on testing. So our complete root cause panel is something that I start every single client with, no matter your age, because it's going to give us more information on exactly what root cause factors are driving the hormones to be so haywire, right? So you're experiencing lots of these symptoms. We need answers first. We need to understand what your body is actually trying to communicate to you. So testing is so important. So we're going to talk about a case study. So like I said, I love to bring in case studies on women that I work with and really show you like what's possible, because healing is possible. Feeling thriving, just feeling really good in your body is completely possible when we know what our body is asking for. So this is a 55-year-old client. She came to me struggling with hot flashes, belly weight gain, so just weight gain in like your lower abdomen, zero libido. So she was like just no desire whatsoever, fatigue, and just experiencing lots of mood shifts. So she told me that she honestly just felt like a stranger in her body. She didn't know what was going on. She knew, it's probably about that time where I'm in menopause, like I haven't had my period. And she's like, I just don't feel right. Like I know this is normal, but I know there's more that I can do to support my body. And I was like, yes, exactly. Let's do it. So the first thing we did, of course, was functional lab testing. So what we really focused on was running our complete root cause panel. So our complete root cause panel picked up some very clear answers. So number one was the blood sugar instability. So this is something that I see pop up over and over again when it comes to any type of hormonal shifts. So she was experiencing some more insulin resistance. So that was leading to her the belly fat, just inability to lose weight in that area. She was working out, she was eating good, like that wasn't the issue. It was more of these deeper internal imbalances going on. This can also impact the fatigue and the mood shifts, right? So I've talked about this before, but when you're on a blood sugar roller coaster, when your blood sugar is going up and then down all day long because of stress, because of skipping meals, over exercising and under eating, then our blood sugar can be unstable. And so that can lead to like feeling super hangry, that can lead to irritability, that can lead to anxiety, even depression. So it's really important to get the blood sugar in check. That's first and foremost. That's one of our foundations of functional wellness. Next, we did see some issues with her detoxification. So this is where her digestion, gut health, and liver health comes into play. So first and foremost, when it comes to hormones, we have to make sure our natural detoxification pathways are open and they're working. Because again, if our liver is not functioning how it's supposed to, due to the insulin resistance, due to the different toxins we're exposed to, due to just chronic stress on our day-to-day life, this can impact our ability to get rid of that excess estrogen, right? And this can also impact our progesterone levels. So progesterone can be super, super low, which all of our hormones are declining. But when we have estrogen that it keeps piling on, it keeps increasing in the body because of the xenoestrogens that we're exposed to, so those endocrine disruptors, what happens is it just keeps driving our progesterone down. And progesterone is so important when it comes to our mood, when it comes to our metabolism, when it comes to our brain health. It's needed. It really is. So this is where a lot of the times when we are experiencing all of these symptoms and they can't get under control, I do like bringing in certain herbs and supplements that actually naturally increase your progesterone. So there's one called Chase Tree, is that how you say it? Chase Tree, something like that. CHASTETREE. This is also known as like Vitex. So these are basically herbs that help naturally increase your progesterone levels, which is going to help with your symptoms. Like I'm talking about all your symptoms. There's also, that's been super common that I've been seeing, is like there's different progesterone creams that you can do. So they're transdermal. So you just put them on your skin absorbs them, and it keeps your progesterone levels at a good level where you're able to experience less chaos with your symptoms. So that's another thing to look into. Again, I always recommend testing before just guessing. They even have like some natural forms of progesterone creams called wild yam. You can use that. It's natural. That naturally increases your progesterone level, so that's super helpful. So there's so many things that you can do to support your body. Another thing when it came to looking at their functional lab insights were nutrient deficiencies. So I see this across the board all the time. So this can, when we're low in nutrients, it can increase inflammation, right? So we want to really rebalance the inflammation by providing the body enough nutrients. So some of the most common ones that we've seen was magnesium, low vitamin D, and also low B12. So those are some that we did supplement with. So not only are we using strategic supplements to help balance my client's symptoms or even your symptoms, we do dive a little bit deeper into the lifestyle. Like I said, she was eating good, she was exercising, like that wasn't an issue, but some small shifts needed to be made in order for her to optimize her hormones. So the first thing we did, of course, we know as we age, we want to build muscle. We want to continue building muscle. So that's really important because that can help with decrease your risk of developing osteoporosis, which is your bone health. So it's super important to keep that in mind. So we switched over to weight training. We wanted to do that at least 2 to 3 times a week just to keep building muscle. And then of course we brought in more supplementation, right? So all of the supplements that we recommend are always strategic. They are always based on testing. We're not just throwing a bunch of supplements at you just because someone said so, right? We want to understand what your body specifically needs. So like I said, strength training, protein forward meals, magnesium, omega-3s from your food, and then of course bringing in those targeted supplementation and then nervous system regulation. That's going to help so much, and it did for her, right? So it increased her energy levels, it increased her confidence, she was feeling really, really good in her body, she was building muscle, she had better sleep, her mood stabilized. So this is truly the power of understanding what your body is trying to communicate to you. So as you go through this transition into menopause, just know, yes, these symptoms are common, okay? But there are ways that you can support your body and optimize your body so you can live a long, healthy life where you're able to do things still and love to do things. You have the energy to do so. You have the energy to chase after your grandkids, right? This is what we want to prepare for. This is what we deserve as women. The more we know how to support our bodies, how to regulate our hormones naturally, we can absolutely change our lives. So I hope this episode was helpful. Again, what I always say is make sure you are looking for the root cause behind your hormonal shifts. If you are experiencing any of the symptoms that I shared during this episode, make sure you send me a DM on Instagram at organicallyglow, and then I can send you a link so you can book a free call and we can chat, get some testing done, see where your levels are at, and provide you a strategic plan. Simple and honestly very effective. So thank you again for listening. If you guys love this episode or you know someone who needs this information, send it over to them. And thank you again. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye. You don't need more wellness advice. What you're looking for are answers. If you're tired of wondering why you feel off, my one-time functional lab testing packages are your fast track to clarity. This is root cause insight without the long-term commitment. You'll get functional labs, a detailed breakdown of what's really going on, and a short-term protocol designed to bring immediate relief. It's not a transformation, it's a turning point. A way to stop guessing, start strategizing, and take grounded action right now. If you are craving clarity without the overwhelm, head to organicallyglow.com and book your testing package today. Because your symptoms aren't random, they are readable, and I'll help you decode them. If today's conversation shifted something inside of you, if it brought you clarity, relief, or a new way to see your health as a leadership tool, I'd love for you to share this with another powerhouse woman in your world. And remember, symptoms aren't the problem, they are the signal. When you start translating them, you stop surviving and you start leading with clarity. I'll see you next time inside Glow Social Hour.